Hello, I'm Tim Smith of the Adams County Historical Society, and welcome to another Monuments Monday. And today we have part 2 of a series I like to call I'm Shot, Get That Man. And of course, we're talking about a marker that sits along the current Route 30 Lincoln Highway at the western edge of Adams County along its border with Franklin County. And in part 1 of this video, I talked a little bit about the history of this area, some of the Civil War history, and the history of the Grafensburg Inn that was just across the street on the other side of the highway, which you would be able to see it if it still stood. It burned in a fire in 1980 and is no longer here. But the basic story of this marker is on the afternoon of October 14th, 1924 at 2:15 p.m. a man entered the Bank of Abbottstown, a good 20 or so miles in that direction, and demanded the cashier turn over all the money in the bank. He was wearing a bandana over his nose and mouth. The cashier turned over about $1,500 to the bank robber, and he ran out of the building. The teller witnessed the man get into a touring car with New York license plates and take off towards Gettysburg. The state police were soon on the scene, and the teller described the vehicle, and the state troopers were able to telephone the different barracks in the area, and soon the police, the report got out of the description of the vehicle. At the state police substation in Chambersburg, Patrolman Francis Haley received instructions to ride towards Gettysburg and keep an eye out for the car. The bank robber actually avoided Gettysburg and traveled through some by roads and came back out onto Route 30 and came up along this area about 3:30 in the afternoon, just as Patrolman Francis Haley was riding down past the inn. Apparently, he spotted the car as it was coming towards him, tried to slow down the car went around him, he took off in pursuit, and just as they were passing in front of the Grafensburg Inn, the bank robber pulled out a pistol, shot through the window, and killed State Trooper Francis Haley. His bike drifted for a short time. His bike turned over. He got off of the motorcycle. People that were on the porch of the hotel heard the shots fired and ran over to him, and the state trooper stumbled a few feet and yelled, "I'm shot. Get that man," and died instantly in the road. Now, after these events, the bank robber went up and over the South Mountain Road on a rarely used road. He ditched the car, he burned the car, he took the license plate off of the car, he fled over the mountains to Mount Holly Springs, he got on a train, and he went over to Reading, Pennsylvania. And then according to the account, he had called his wife, and by the time he called his wife the next day, the state troopers had already been at his house looking for him. This murder. After this murder ensued one of the greatest manhunts of that time by the Pennsylvania State Police. They found the vehicle. They were able to search the area. They found the license plate. They realized the vehicle was stolen from Ohio, and they were able to trace back to who the license plate came from, and they ended up catching the guy the next day. The trial for the murderer and bank robber was held in January of 1925. The murderer was found guilty, and he was ordered to the electric chair, and he was executed on November 30th, 1925. At the trial, one of the people who testified was Frances McLean, who was on the porch of the hotel when it occurred. She, of course, is from Gettysburg. Her father is William Archibald McLean. Her grandfather was William McLean, the lawyer in Gettysburg at the time of the battle. Her great-grandfather is Moses McLean. And she, in the 1940s, is one of the people who supported the early establishment of the Adams County Historical Society and donated a huge collection of artifacts to us from her family. According to the newspaper at the trial, the three witnesses who saw the fatal shot fired, who saw Haley ride forward, drop his motorcycle, take 4 steps, and fall forward on his face, were Miss Frances McLean of Gettysburg, Mrs. F.O. Miller of Grafensburg Inn, and George Johnston, the golf professional at the inn. The 3 eyewitnesses said they distinctly heard the words of the driver of the car, "Take that," as he turned slightly in his seat and fired at the pursuing officer. Now, in 1925, the state police made a small documentary actually about the shooting, and we'll supply a link here in the description below so you can check that out, and it's very interesting. It's just a few seconds long. Early on, there was a movement to put up some kind of plaque or memorial for Trooper Haley. According to an article from February 1925, a few months after the event, "Get that man," the words spoken by State Trooper Francis Haley as he fell dead after being shot by a bandit who held up the Abbottstown State Bank, will be placed on a bronze memorial to the trooper at the State Police Department's training school in Hershey as an inspiration. And in July 1925, there's an article that mentions that the state police are using his dying words as a slogan. "I'm shot. Get that man." 12 postseason guests on the porch of the Grafensburg Inn saw the Pennsylvania State Trooper stagger to his feet and stand swaying in the Macadam Road, his hand pointing to a touring car speeding westward on the Lincoln Highway. Then he collapsed, his dark gray clad body sprawling across his fallen motorcycle. When they reached him, he was dead, a bullet through the heart. Thus, on the Pennsylvania stretch of the great artery of the transcontinental automobile traffic at a point where Adams and Franklin County meet, died Trooper Francis Haley of Pottsville, Pennsylvania, his lips framing that ringing appeal which, disdaining mortal wound, placed duty first. Get that man. And I find that that whole thing very, very, very interesting. Now, the monument here was dedicated in 1927. Trooper Francis Haley was born in Pottsville, Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania in 1899. He joined the Pennsylvania State Police in May of 1924. So he's a trooper for less than a year. Now, the rest of the story will be about the man who murdered Trooper Haley at the site. But for that, we have to travel all the way across the county to the eastern edge of the county in Abbottstown. Hello again. Should I say it like that?
Yeah.
Do it put people out?
I think it's good.
Okay. I have to say the same thing because you're making a bobblehead doll that says hello. Okay. The murder. The last word, let me start again. I'll cut that and we'll start again. Let me find my page and then it'll be a lot easier for me. At the trial, one of the